And we are actually live. It is 2:30 p.m. It's a Wednesday afternoon, and you're watching Innovation Fika with me, Donny, live here from Stockholm. KDH today, actually. Usually at KDH. Sometimes I'm out traveling. Next week, I'll be in Kigali in Rwanda. So that will be a broadcast from Rwanda next week. But today, I'm in Stockholm. Every Wednesday, 2:30 p.m. I'll do this intro thing for another 35 seconds or something because we're waiting for people to get online. Innovation Fika, of course, Innovation Coffee Break. Fika in Swedish meaning coffee break. And where I get to meet incredibly interesting people with incredibly interesting ideas. And we have fantastic conversations.
I just want to add on that the fika is not only coffee. It has to be something sweet with it.
Yes, of course.
Exactly. Very important.
Of course. Very important. Thank you for adding that. And I will say, as always, as you come online, everyone, add in the comments who you are, where you're from, and make sure to get the networking going. We always have a bunch of people online, and looking forward to your questions and Q&A. And that's why we do it live, because we want to interact with you, the live audience. Otherwise, we would just record it and edit it and do the whole AI perfection thing, which of course we would never do. I love doing the live thing. Everything, there's always something fun that happens during live. So almost enough about that. I'll just say that all the recordings are found on YouTube, 128 episodes after this one. And all of most of the stuff I write is as well on Medium. So Donny S. Ligon is my Medium page for that one as well. With that, enough about me and why we are here. And today I have it's always a great pleasure to invite people. But today I actually have invited a dear old friend who, for some weird voodoo reason, hasn't aged a day since I met her like 20 years ago or something. But I'm so pleased to welcome you, Anna, to the studio.
Thank you. Woo! I'm pleased to be here as well. Innovation it is.
I know. And yeah, it's just, we can just touch it. It's tangible. So having that said, I'll ask you the first question. I'll ask you the same question I ask all of my guests. Anna, who are you? Who are you and what do you do?
Who am I? That's like a big question.
I know it, but you don't have to interpret it as, the big question as such.
So who am I? I am a very creative spirit that be working within communication, event, and PR for most of my career. But I'm also an artist and a dancer and a lot of things. And I love boats. I founded a big boating network, the biggest one in the Nordics, called She Captain.
Isn't it is it the biggest one in the Nordic, or is it the world's biggest female network for boating? I can't say the world's biggest,
to be honest. It's 9,000 members.
I have no idea. I'm outsider, so I can say Anna has founded the world's biggest network for female boaters, sailors.
Everyone, women who like boats. So not only sailors, it's
women who like boats. Connect with Anna. She Captain. Right?
Exactly, She Captain.
And you all have this cool logotype now as well.
It is. The brand is going strong. And actually, we have women from all over the world and men actually just wanting to wear our merchandise because the logo is
it's really cool logotype.
Thank you.
Let's do another episode where we talk only about She Captain.
Okay, we can do that.
But today we're actually talking about, help me now. It was AI, because I got this wrong when you sent me the message. I was going, AI brain. And I was like, sort of, just doing and then I realized that hang on, it's the other way around. Yes. It's actually your AI brain we're talking about today.
But it's actually also because now we started with saying like who I am, but what I do is also sort of a hard question for me right now, because I've just changed a lot of things in my life, working as a management consultant for like 20 years with internal communication and event and brand growth of different sorts. And now my brain broke like twice, actually. So I burned out twice. And that was one of the best things that happened to me, because in that phase, I had to reevaluate who I am and how I'm supposed to be able to continue working with what I do, but in a different way. And doing all of that made me go really into understanding what is it that our brain is doing. Mm-hmm. And everything happened at the same time as AI became the talk of everywhere. And everyone was also panicking about that AI is going to replace us and what's going to happen. Yeah. And so I went really deep into understanding, so what is it that AI does? And what is it that AI does that we and our brains are doing? And what is it then that that AI cannot do? What makes us human? And so in this new era that I feel is just starting now, what is it then that we humans have to develop within ourselves to update ourselves and the human skills that we're having? So now I'm doing lectures about that and workshops and trainings and how to update ourselves and
so
the AI programming.
Well, this is super interesting. I just checking the one comment here from Joachim Alvarez. If anybody else has a problem with the video lagging, just let us know in the chat. But this is being recorded, and it will be a recording on LinkedIn and on YouTube as well afterwards. So please bear with us for now anyway. But coming back to the AI question, then you said what makes us human. So what does make us human?
Oh, isn't that an interesting question that everyone wants to know?
Yeah.
So basically what AI, if we just look at it from the perspective what AI does and what AI can do that our brains can do. So we know that AI can do, language, decision making, analytics, reflections, like all of those things that our brain has been the best to do. And now we created something that even does it better than us.
Yeah.
So what's left? Well, what's left is creativity, intuition, and fantasy.
Yeah.
And basically our subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is where we keep our AI programming. So basically what AI does is all these reflection and analysts and everything that AI can do, they can only go from the data that we brought in, right? And the human brain works exactly the same way. So from the age of 0 to 7 is when the subconscious is still open and we download our programming, which means our values, our opinions, our emotions, because emotions is not something that we're born with. We are taught emotions, reactions. That's why you and I, if we're out in a park and a dog comes running, you might sit down and get super happy because it's a cute dog, and I might want to kick the dog because I'm afraid of it, because we've been taught different things. So after this age, the sad thing is that we don't really update this. We don't update.
We stop. We
stop. We don't update our values. We don't update who we are or our emotional reactions and so we live through this filter all the time. And that's how our AI brains works. So we just go to the data and the programming that we have and we create the same reality over and over again. So the only way to break free of whatever patterns or whatever change you want to do is to do exactly what we do with AI. We have to give it new data. We have to update the data so that we learn and understand that we don't have to feel this way or act this way or interpret people in a certain way or a situation.
But that is so interesting, because that's everything you're talking about, everything from emotion and values to things like prejudice and things like when we talk about innovation and when people are set, or creativity, when people are set to solve a problem, they usually go back to how did I do it last time, and they look at what worked last time, and then you pick the solution that kind of worked, and that's getting stuck in doing the same thing over and over again. And I'm hearing the same thing. It takes conscious thought and effort to break out of that rut that you've sort of ended up in.
Because the first thing you have to do, and that's the hardest thing, that's understanding, to create the separation between the brain and yourself. So this self, I mean, some people call it the soul or the I, but just explaining it, it's just basically your creativity, your imagination, and your intuition. That's what creates the self, and that's what's unique in between all of us. So that's the voice that speaks to you. So then you have to create the separation with your thoughts and your values and your emotions, so that when you get for instance, a strong emotional reactions, like I talk to you and you say something and I get really frustrated or angry, then I tell my brain, you don't really have to feel angry or frustrated. You can also just, feel super happy and just not care at all about this person. You actually have the opportunity and the power within you to decide how you want to interpret or feel in a certain situation.
But people don't understand that.
I know.
They don't. This is.
And the most fun thing about this, what I also think about, because I've been interested about this my whole life, right? But I've been very skeptical. I've not been a spiritual person at all. I've been doing a lot of the practice, but I didn't really believe in a lot of the things. because it was called, as we say in Swedish, flummigt, something that's looked upon as some mumbo jumbo, you do, energy cleansing and whatever. But now all of these things that were called mumbo jumbo before, right? We've had 15 years where people have been doing science on this. And now we actually know that all these flummit mumbo jumbo meditations, manifestations, I mean, quantum physics and everything, we prove this, why it works now. But still, so the knowledge is there. We're able to, and a lot of people know this, but we don't practice it and we don't do it because we live in a brain society where we're given too much power to the brain. And also because if you want to add new experiences and open up, the body reaction will be to give you anxiety when you don't understand the certain things, or it's a new opinion or a new idea, whatever. It gives you anxiety, and a lot of people, they don't want to feel these emotions that we have categorized as bad, right? So you stay away from those and you want to stick to what you know. And if you stick to what you know, then you will only get that, and you will never be able to change or use your intuition and your creativity.
Well, it's like we're saying, and again, in the creativity track, which is the same thing, is if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got.
Exactly.
I have a comment here, and actually I will introduce here. Look, this is let's see, show here, Nadia from Michigan. Actually, I will actually say that Nadia, make sure to get in touch with Anna after the show, because she also has a really cool podcast on AI, and she has a newsletter now, a new newsletter. Post about the newsletter in the chat, Nadia, about your new AI newsletter. You need to feature Anna on that one. Definitely. So how do we go about because this is people, I get it. I'm so annoyed with people because they can choose how to react to things. You're allowed to choose how to react to things, and you don't have to fall into the normal reaction. You can choose a different reaction. But how do we actually do that? How do we practice that?
It's two things. First of all, you have to, understand that you are not your thoughts. So you have to start understanding that there is work to be done, so you can't choose other things. So the first thing is calming your AI brain down, because it wants control all the time, and the brain is really lazy. It wants to do things the same way all the time. So you have to sort of calm the brain down and, make it understand that, you can rest now. But to get into then creativity, intuition, and so the big difference is the creativity and intuition and all those parts of the brain are connected to our bodies and to the nerve system, right? So emotions, and this is, a lot of people don't know this yet, because we are still, a lot of people are taught that emotions are something that we are born with, and that there are some basic sort of emotions, but it's not. So emotions happens when it's a sensory impulse from the body's nerve system that then goes through the body up through the subconscious, and then your brain is going, okay, so when your stomach feels like this, in this situation, this means that you're afraid. But the same bodily sensation can mean that you're in love, or that you're really nervous about the presentation, or that you ate something bad.
Of course.
So it's again just the interpretation. So everything with intuition and creativity comes from being in touch with your bodily sensations, right? And since we're brain people and we live in the brain, and a lot of people then, especially in the brain society that we are now, we think of personal development as also going to therapy or reading books or listening to podcasts, but all of those things just feeds the brain. None of those things will change anything. It will give you knowledge, and you might feel like, wow, now I understand why I react this way. But it won't change anything, right? So the only way to change this is to be able to turn off your brain and be more present in your body. And with the body, I mean, for a lot of people, the body is just something that carries you around. And sure, you might work out or do a sport, but that's a lot of brain work also to do a sport or something. And it's certain movements. So we need to also loosen up our bodies to be able to feel things, because emotions also get stuck in your body because of the nerve system. We know nerve system goes fast, it's fight or flight. Then you tense this part up and you tense your hips up. And if you don't stretch or go full body movements, which we rarely do. I mean, how many times during a day do you actually just move your arms in like full rotation? You don't. So then you turn off these signals and you get stuck in these emotions in your body. Because if you have the muscle tensions all the time like this, you're going to feed your brain with anxiety, or I'm nervous, or I'm, even though you might not have to be. So the longer you walk around with these tensions, you keep on feeding your brain. So just by also getting relaxed in your body, stretching your body, getting in touch with it, then you get more in touch with these bodily sensations, and you can feel your intuition more. You can get into the creative space more.
Do you feel that you have like an advantage of, with your dance career, and actually being a dancer and being in your body in a much more sort of perceptive way than a normal, maybe walking to work and going to the gym person? Do you feel that has helped you a lot when it comes to that part?
I would say yes, but I didn't. I mean, my brain broke. Like I burnt out twice, because I went in, I stopped dancing, I stopped moving, I went into becoming this super brain myself. So when I then burnt out the first time and I had to spend all my time in my body, I realized that my body was like stiffer than ever. I couldn't even sit down on the floor with my legs like straight in front of me. And when I started stretching, because I'm not afraid of being in my body then, but I just hadn't spent any time in it. So when I started stretching, I all of a sudden could have these really strong emotional releases. Like you're in a stretch for like 5 minutes, and all of a sudden I could start crying, or I got like this intense feeling of anxiety. And then I realized like, whoa, that was like these emotions that have been trapped into my body. And so I think like my background of dancing and stretching made me not being so afraid of being in my body, but it was still really
But a lot of people
scary.
I mean, I know people, and I put myself in that category as well. Like when you go to a really in-depth, like full body massage, and then you afterwards, or during the massage or afterwards, you get these very sort of emotional response. And you don't understand why you are reacting, like crying or being happy or whatever it is. You have this flood of endorphins and an emotional response, and it's so connected to actually loosening up, and your body finally gets to say something about it as well.
But a lot of times people then panic because the brain wants control, right? So when you get a strong bodily reaction or an emotion, you then want to understand what it is. So you go like, why am I so sad? Why am I crying? And then you instead control it, instead of just somatically just let it be. Just fucking cry. Just scream. Just be fucking angry. Like, but like, don't do it too much out. Don't take it out on other people, but be in the emotion and let it like flow more. We have to let it flow, or we stop it up and we become stiff and we mess with our intuition and our creativity.
Based on, we have a question from Nadia as well. Based on what you know now, can you comment on how to prevent burnout? Do you know better now how, will you see the signs next time, or
I am seeing the signs, because now when I'm trying to start up again, I've been trying to do things where I've realized I have, so what happens for me at least is that I go too much into brain. So I become too much focused on performance and all these things I want to do. And I always, for me, it's really important to do things with really good quality, right? So that means I push myself beyond what my body is saying, because if you start listening to your body, then you don't have any issues. If you spend just a couple of minutes a day just doing full body movements, just like move your arms, move like your torso. Just what happens if you go down real low and open up your hips? Do that a couple of times a day and you'll be fine. But we don't do that a couple of times a day. No. And a lot of people are like, no, but I do sports, I do running. Yes, but it's very confirmed movement still. You have to move more
completely.
in order to
agree with
loosen
that.
up,
So so we talked about how to detach and how to get in, and then what happens? Then the body. How do we do the reprogramming thing?
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of it. Like, there's two things when it comes to reprogramming. One is, of course, I like to say that all the Buddhist monks have been right all along, right? We need to spend time in meditation. And meditation it doesn't have to be just sitting in silence forever. It can be guided meditations, whatever, anything from 3 minutes to 5. It's just a matter of not thinking, just focus on whatever, your breath or a sensation. Because that's the only time where you actually also practice to turn off your brain and just be present in your body. So that's like number one. Number two is just the same thing with AI. Since we have to, add new data to ourselves, which means that we have to break patterns and teach our brains that we can feel things in a different way. And a lot of things here are steered by emotions.
Yeah.
And it's because emotions is the only thing that changes your life, right? We all know you can make as much money as possible, have a great family or whatever, but you can still be miserable.
Yeah.
So the only thing is controlling your emotions and deciding what emotions to have. And then you have to practice all these different emotions, because you can't walk around in your life and going like the only way to be happy or to feel like a badass boss or whatever is that the outer circumstances should give you those emotions.
Yeah, of course.
You have to be able to get those emotions going in your body no matter what else is happening. So we all hear about the power pose and whatever, but it's basically just moving your body and just deciding to be really happy. That's why I love body movements, and I love, dance. Dance is perfect. And dance doesn't mean that you're going to go and learn a choreography. That's not the type of dance I'm talking about. I'm talking about just moving, like put on a song with lyrics that is just like talking about being the best person in the world, and then you just like pretend and just get those emotions really strong and high in your body, because a lot of people don't spend time in those emotions, and then your brain will never create those emotions because they don't even know what those emotions are. So it's like finding different circumstances and scenarios to feed you strong emotions that you're not used to, and all of them. Being angry, being sad, being like, don't be afraid of them, don't judge them, but practice to feel them so you can choose them when you need to.
I'll just say the small analogy there. When I teach like pitching, like startups pitching and getting up on stage, I have one sort of basic rule, and it's pitching is a very physical sport. And if you're going to give a pitch standing up, practice standing up, because your body needs to be comfortable with the circumstance of you delivering this talk or whatever it is. Don't practice sitting down in front of the computer and learn the words rationally, because once you stand up and do the pitch, your body will react emotionally to the situation.
Exactly.
So you have to practice being there and owning the subject, and exactly what you're saying.
Because it starts in the body. Everything starts in the body. And if you walk around and you're nervous and you get stuck here, it's very hard being confident if this is how you present yourself. But if you turn it around, if you're able to be here in a relaxed manner, it's very hard to have a bad day or not feeling amazing if you carry yourself like you're amazing.
Of course. But that's another kind of, I'm not going to go. Well, I could even go so far to say it's kind of a stigma that we are supposed to be like conform and act in a certain manner and don't make waves, and we're not supposed to be in touch with everything, because then we're considered strange.
Exactly. But I mean, the same norms that are, inside our brains are also in societies, but it's different in different societies. We live in a society that doesn't move at all or doesn't have that much emotions, but there's many other beautiful cultures and places in the world that are more in touch with emotions, where emotions are more allowed and where people move more also. So it's not, now we live in Sweden, which is very brain based.
Then the interesting thing is that we could probably do some kind of a correlation with how miserable or not people are, depending on how much. I had an old friend of mine that always talked about the weather as one determining factor of how happy or miserable a population was. Because in Sweden, everybody is like sort of always bunched up like this and trying to keep warm because it's so cold. When other countries where it's warmer, there's a natural opening of the body. I have no idea.
But then also I want to say, now we're placing judgmentals on the weather. Just because the weather
is like
fault. But
but
if the weather is like raining and stormy, I don't look at it as bad weather. I look at it as dramatic weather that is here to clean up the air and just rinse our energy. So it's a lot of just changing up how we think about things and how we value things.
Don't forget, you get to choose how to react to any given circumstance. It's your choice. It's never the outer circumstance is the outer circumstance, and you can't change that. You can't change the weather, but you can change on how you react to the weather. So look, this is the world's fastest half an hour. We're almost We need to do the top 3 tips here as well. So we have Anna Mourou's top 3 tips for today when it comes to the rewiring our own AI brain. And tip number 1 is feel.
Exactly. That's what we started. Like, in order to upgrade our brains, we have to give it new experiences. And one of the most important thing is to enhance the different emotions, because that's really where we rewire ourselves and teach ourselves, like, I don't have to have this emotion, I can have this emotion. But in order to give ourselves the emotions we want, we need to practice them. Yeah. So don't be afraid of emotions. Let all of them. Look at it as a wave. It just needs to like come through your body. Just don't stop it. If something happens and you become sad or angry, go home and just put on a song and just be fucking sad or angry and just let it out.
There you go. There you go. Tip number 2, move. And that's the same. Yeah, there you go.
That's the same thing. Yeah. Just be aware that, you know, you get your emotions stuck in your body, and that what feeds your brain all the time. That's the glasses you're wearing. So a lot of times, you know, you don't really have to go to therapy and talk that much. If you just get loose in your body and release those emotions somatically, you change the way you look at things just by being more at ease in your body, and the nerve system will tell you different things then.
And I must also second the thing when it comes to dancing. I won't even call it dancing. I will just call it movement to music.
That's what I do. Body movements to music.
Body movement to a rhythmic something that you're hearing.
Yes. And because the body is like amazing. Like, it can do so many things.
I know.
Like, when do you stand and just like freak out with your arms and go like, hello arms, what can you do? Or like, oh, hello chest, look at you chest. It's like all these great things it can do. Yeah, just move.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing I like with the all-night raves thing, that you can just stand there for like hours on end and just sort of be in the music without having to care about how you're actually dancing.
No, it doesn't matter. It's just moving.
I know. And then the last one is do the work.
Exactly, because it's very easy to get stuck in your brain and you think that you know the answers and you're going to do this and you don't, but you actually don't. We only have today, people. Just know that. And it's about you to create who you want to be. And if you want to be, a happy person that is loving to the children and very healthy, then you have to do things today that make you happy, that make you. So it's doing the work today. Don't wait until tomorrow, whatever. 3 minutes, or just put on a song in between 2 meetings, dance it out, and just start doing the work. Just do the work, because it's fucking work.
Yeah. It's an effort.
I mean, Buddhists, they stay 7 years meditating. I don't have 7 years because I have a busy schedule. So we have to just do a couple of minutes a day.
No, but I think one so true thing is that you choose how you want to react to any given circumstance, and you choose how you want to be in that circumstance and who you want to be in that circumstance. You can stand above it, and it's like, it takes 2 people to tango, and it takes a perpetrator and a victim in any kind of relationship as well. And you can choose to stand over that. I know I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying you can just go do it. It's like super hard stuff here, but it is your choice as well.
Exactly.
And do today what you want to experience tomorrow.
Because we are creators, and that's what sets us apart from AI. We are more than just the pre-programming we are. And we got to get in touch with that creativity and
getting some good love here. So it's saying more body movement, the upper of the brain. Love it. Yeah, there we go.
Body movement.
Go amazing. Amazon Anna. There you go. Awesome. Loving this, Tony and Anna. You are welcome to discuss further. Of course we will.
Yes,
of course we will. Look, it is 3 o'clock on the nose. It's the world's fastest half an hour. It's Innovation Fika with Tony. Anna, thank you so much. And
thank you.
I will see her again in 20 years, and I'll look like an old 90-year-old, and she'll still look like she looked 20 years ago. And
that's because I keep updating my brain and my body.
Exactly. Yes. Take care, everyone. Have a fantastic Wednesday and a great week, and I'll see you all next week again. Innovation Fika. I'll be in Africa, live broadcasting from Kigali. But for now, we'll say thank you again to Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.